This is Power Hour with Gabriella Power.
Hello and welcome to Power Hour. I'm Gabriella Power. Thank you for joining us. Coming up on the show, the US government shuts down.
Hello, America. This is White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt. Democrats in Congress have shut down the federal government.
Antifa-aligned thugs cause chaos at an ICE centre. And the Obamas won't stop talking about their marriage problems.
The way you're chewing makes me want to smack you upside the head.
Joining us now is President of the Centre of the American Experiment, John Hinderaker. John, thank you so much for your time. Let's talk about this shutdown. Democrats and Republicans failed to reach an agreement by Tuesday night's deadline, and the US government is now partially shut down. Karoline Leavitt has recorded a message on the White House comment line, absolutely torching Democrats over the shutdown. Listen to this.
Thank you for calling the White House comment line.
Hello, America. This is White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt. Democrats in Congress have shut down the federal government because they care more about funding health care for illegal immigrants than they care about serving you, the American people. Until Democrats vote for the clean, Republican-backed continuing resolution to reopen the government, the White House is unable to answer your call or respond to your questions. We look forward to hearing from you again very soon. And in the meantime, please know President Trump will never stop fighting for you. Thank you, and God bless you.
John, I think their communication strategy just never misses. But talk to us about the shutdown and how this is going to play out.
Well, what Karoline Leavitt said, of course, is correct. The Democrats have shut down the government. They filibustered the Republicans' bill to keep the government open for the next several weeks. And what they're trying to do is to force the Republicans to spend more than $1 trillion in new money, including funding of health care for all illegal immigrants. They're trying to reverse legislation that was passed less than 2 months ago, voted for by the American people and passed by majorities in the House and the Senate. And of course, the Republicans aren't going along with that. So this is really shut down theater. The Democrats are playing to their radical base. They're trying to show that they're tough. They're fighting President Trump and so on. And in the meantime, Trump is saying that, well, if we don't have any money for a while here, I'm going to do a significant reduction in force. We're going to eliminate a large number of federal jobs, which of course is something that we conservatives would love to see.
Now, the president has cancelled nearly $8 billion in climate funding to blue states. The Office of Management and Budget Director Russell Vought wrote nearly $8 billion in green new scam funding to fuel the left's climate agenda is being cancelled. And the funding cuts, I should say, are cutting around 15 projects to about 15 states. And we're still learning more about those details. Critics argue that this is politically motivated, but the White House defends this as a step to curbing what it sees as absolutely excessive spending on programs that support this Democrat climate agenda, John.
Yeah, this is spending for wind and solar energy and hydrogen. It's no secret that the Trump administration considers that wasteful, foolish spending and is trying to stop it. The Department of Energy put out a press release less than an hour ago, and it explained some of these cuts. And about half of these dollars are taking back grants that were made by the Biden administration between Donald Trump's election and his inauguration. So they knew they were getting thrown out of office, and they awarded, I don't know, 15 or 20 billion dollars in these energy grants, and much of the money went to Democratic Party activists and even Democratic Party politicians. It is a scandal. And now the Department of Energy is canceling some of those grants as well as some other grants. So that's fundamentally what's going on here.
Let's talk about what's been happening in Portland. There's been certainly chaos around the ICE detention centre in Portland. Just night after night, Antifa thugs have been taking to the streets, blasting loud music, engaging in anti-government chants over loudspeakers and megaphones, and clashing with law enforcement. And just looking at the vision each day, some of it has been wild to see. And in the latest vision that's come to our attention, we've been seeing some of these thugs taking to the streets, waving foreign flags. Look at this. Also, the American flag being flown upside down. Can I get your reaction?
Well, Antifa is a violent communist organization that is viciously anti-American. They have been rioting in Portland for 5 years now, going back to 2020. They have rioted now 100 nights in a row outside the main ICE immigration facility in Portland. And they're assaulting passersby and they're battling police and so on. And the Portland city authorities, who are all liberals or all Democrats, are doing nothing to stop this violent communist activity. And so President Trump has finally had enough, and he's called out a few hundred Oregon National Guardsmen, and he's sending them to Portland to protect federal facilities and federal employees as they are trying to do their job.
Finally, John, I want to talk to you about Greta Thunberg. She has once again failed in her attention-seeking mission to support Hamas. Greta Thunberg and other activists have been detained after the Israeli Navy intercepted the latest flotilla. Now, John, this comes just days after President Trump presented a 20-point peace plan to bring the war in Gaza to an end. Yet there has been silence from all these pro-Palestine groups that claim they want peace. Now, as for Greta Thunberg, this stunt of hers has once again failed, and it was always going to.
It was always going to. I don't think there are very many people left who haven't caught on to Greta Thunberg. I think her act has worn very, very thin. And as far as Hamas is concerned, these people, Thunberg and the rest, falsely claim that there's a genocide going on in Gaza. Here they have an opportunity to end the genocide, and they won't do it, right?
Yeah.
They insist on continuing the war. And that gives you a pretty good idea of what's really going on. These people say we're bringing supplies to Gaza. Gaza is overflowing with supplies. The problem is that if people try to take the supplies, the Hamas gunmen will shoot them. That's the problem.
It is. President of the Center of the American Experiment, John Hinderaker, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
It's time for Media Meltdowns, and the leftist media is losing it over Secretary of War Pete Hegseth's DEI crackdown and push for fitness standards to return to the military.
Why is he obsessed with fat?
Yeah, and fitness and...
Yeah, Joy can't work out why troops should be at their peak physical fitness level. And neither can The View's Sunny Hostin, who argues it's totally bizarre that there should be high standards.
It also didn't make a lot of sense to me that he was saying that he was going to toughen physical standards and review the anti-hazing policy by sort of implementing a hazing policy. And then also he said he was going to return to the highest male standard for combat positions because the troops were fat. Yeah. I don't understand how that was supposed to be an uplifting message for our military.
And what about the woke hosts on MSNBC? According to them, bringing back merit to the military must mean there's no room for different races.
Individuals who are supposed to be leadership are using this kind of language. I call that the meritocracy myth, and it feels as though that myth of meritocracy, this idea that the women and the people of color, the LGBTQ folks, they are all there because of some help or some preference. That idea is a lie, but it feels as like it's a lie that they feel like Hegseth especially has to tell, because then they can twist the narrative, they can twist the truth, he can hide excellence. It gives cover for his own mediocrity because he is unqualified to be there.
They also had that line, he had that line about diversity isn't our strength, unity is our strength, which made me wonder whether or not there is room for diverse opinions, diverse races, religions in his sense of unity.
Joining us now is media strategist for Maha PAC, Caitlin Sinclair. Caitlin, it's great to see you again. I mean, are we even surprised that hosts on The View and MSNBC have an issue with fit troops?
No, Gabriella, I don't think this meltdown was a surprise. God forbid our military should be fit here in the United States. What I think we should point out is the stark contrast between these meltdowns. Our Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, said he doesn't want any more overweight or fat soldiers, the ones that are protecting our country. No more dudes in skirts in the military. Meanwhile, our former president, Joe Biden, left $7 billion in military equipment to the Taliban and got 13 American soldiers killed withdrawing for Afghanistan. And which one did the media and our lovely Joe Behar get more angry about? Again, a very stark contrast there.
Yeah, it says so much, doesn't it? Let's just look at the announcement by Secretary of War Pete Hegseth saying that all combat personnel would be required to meet the highest male standard in order to maintain their positions.
It's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops. Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon. So whether you're an airborne ranger or a chairborne ranger, a brand new private or a 4-star general, you need to meet the height and weight standards and pass your PT test.
Yeah, Caitlin, it says so much that Liberals are offended by what Pete Hegseth had to say. But I want to talk to you about Maha. There was a classic Donald Trump moment in the White House this week when RFK Jr. sneezed. Let's take a look at this.
They couldn't test it. God bless you, Bobby. I hope I didn't catch COVID just there. Don't you have Paxlovid? What is it? He's got Paxlovid. Give me a Paxlovid immediately.
And he was saying that to the CEO of Pfizer. But also this week, Caitlin, Donald Trump signed an executive order aimed at improving ways to identify and treat pediatric cancers using AI. And so the use of AI will also be to identify new cures. And in signing this order, the US is adding another $50 million to the Childhood Cancer Data Initiative. Is that right?
Yes, that's absolutely right. So there's a lot that's going into this initiative. This president is a man that wants to get answers to the mama bears of this country that have been requesting those answers for their kids, their pediatric kids that have been suffering so badly with cancer. And we're trying to use this technology of AI to our benefit. That's what our president wants to do. And just to paint a picture for your viewers, this president was in the Oval Office signing an executive order to unleash cures, hopefully, for pediatric cancer. And Democrats were busy shutting down the government, Gabriella, over their demand that illegals get health care. So another stark contrast, just to paint a picture. The difference couldn't be more stark. They have to make sure that, of course, their future voters get health care. But the American people that have been screaming and demanding answers for decades are still suffering.
Yeah, it's a great point. Now, YouTube is going to be paying more than $24 million to settle a lawsuit brought by Donald Trump over the company's decision to suspend his account back in 2021. Now, this comes after YouTube said that it would be reinstating accounts that were banned, partly due to the content that was covered on topics such as COVID-19, the 2020 election, and also those accounts were suspended partly due to pressure from the Biden administration. Now, Caitlin, this payout, I guess, is another victory, but it's also a reminder of just how insane that time was, where Donald Trump was banned from, or he was suspended from YouTube, he was banned from Twitter. YouTubers were suspended if they didn't follow this strict COVID-19 narrative that was being put out by mainstream media outlets. And we've also heard from Meta just earlier this year that the Biden administration made them censor content. What do you make of this?
Yeah, I think part of the conversation that's missing right now that I'd love to bring in, that I think my generation is picking up on, is these people didn't just wake up one day, Gabriella, and realize they have a conscience and realize they actually want to be honest people. It's because the culture has shifted.
Yeah.
Being conservative is no longer considered, quote, dangerous. It's now in. Being MAGA isn't fringe anymore. It's accepted. So the Mark Zuckerbergs of the world, the Googles and the Instagrams and the YouTubes of the world, they wanted to rewrite history. And now they're just playing and coming up out of nowhere saying, oops, my bad. No, it doesn't work like that, Gabriella. Where was their grace when it actually mattered? Because so many of us conservatives, we were actually censored and canceled for telling the truth back then. So I don't think the American people appreciate them coming out of nowhere saying, my bad, won't happen again. Where's the real accountability? Because again, real people paid real prices for telling the truth when it was actually hard. This is the easy way out, in my opinion.
Couldn't agree with you more. Now, J.D. Vance was in the White House today reminding Liberals how to take a joke.
Posting some images of Leader Jeffries and Senator Schumer recently. You've said that you're interested in good faith negotiations with these leaders, but what message does that send? Is it helpful just post pictures of Leader Jeffries in a sombrero if you're trying to have good faith talks with him?
Oh, I think it's funny. The president's joking, and we're having a good time. You can negotiate in good faith while also poking a little bit of fun at some of the absurdities of the Democrats' positions, and even, poking some fun at the absurdity of the Democrats themselves. I mean, I'll tell Hakeem Jeffries right now, I make this solemn promise to you that if you help us reopen the government, the sombrero memes will stop. And I've talked to the President of the United States about that.
Caitlin, I love seeing it. Some reporters are still just so triggered by what this administration is doing, which includes having a laugh and posting memes.
Yeah, that's right. And the fact that memes trigger the left more than open borders, collapsing economies, collapsing families, really shows their weakness there. I would love to ask that reporter, I don't know his name, was it at all helpful, to use his words, when the Democrats and the left were calling conservatives deplorables, calling Trump Hitler, because these are just silly sombrero memes, but they were calling Trump and his supporters fascists and Nazis. So this is pretty tame in comparison. I don't know.
And they still are. That language has not dialed down at all. Now, Erika Kirk, the widow of the incredible Charlie Kirk, of course, the new CEO of Turning Point USA, has been featured in Time magazine's list of the world's most influential rising stars. Now, she's been commended for her message of forgiveness and love following the assassination of her husband, and she is absolutely incredible. Times wrote, few would have faulted Erika Kirk if she had stood before tens of thousands at her husband's memorial and demanded retribution. Instead, 11 days after Charlie Kirk was assassinated while speaking at a university, his 36-year-old widow offered something rare in today's politics: forgiveness. Caitlin, can I get your reaction to this?
Oh, yes. Knowing Erika personally, so many of my former colleagues, again, so strong in their faith. Gabrielle, I know we've spoken about this before. And I can share with your viewers that I struggled with my faith. And during my time at Turning Point, I expressed that to some of my former colleagues. And I want your viewers to know that every single one of those conversations was met with encouragement, was met with love, never with judgment, and with the kind of strength that Erika Kirk portrayed for us all in that arena that day. And that was the kind of culture that Charlie cultivated. And I believe the kind of culture that Erika will now continue with. And I think this is all about role models when it comes down to it. Right now, the younger generation, the younger cohort of voters are struggling with good role models to look up to in this world of entertainment gone rogue. I think Erika Kirk perfectly represents the strong, classy embodiment of what every woman and mother should look like. And I'm so happy that young people and young women have her to look up to.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, Charlie Kirk was such an amazing example to all of us, particularly young men. And Erika Kirk, she is amazing and such a great role model to all of us. Joe Rogan has weighed in on some of the commentary surrounding Charlie Kirk's assassination, and he's blasted the sick lefties who have been out celebrating his murder. Let's listen to this.
Well, the Charlie Kirk thing opened up my eyes.
Yeah.
I never expected so many people would celebrate that man's murder. The fact that people were cheering when he died, normal people, housewives, moms, like people working at banks, people working at various industries, celebrating a man getting shot in front of his kids, in the front of the whole world.
That's evil.
What the is wrong with us?
Caitlin, I wasn't as surprised as Joe Rogan was. I mean, I've seen so many examples from people part of the far extreme, far left who celebrate murder. We saw it with the Luigi Mangione case. We saw it with celebrations of people burning down Teslas in protest against Elon Musk, people being upset that Donald Trump wasn't assassinated in Butler, Pennsylvania. So it didn't surprise me seeing this kind of disgusting reaction. I guess it still hurts, though, when you see people like Erika Kirk, everything she stands for, and we know what Charlie Kirk stood for, such an incredible person, such an amazing example to all of us. And you have people that celebrate death. What did you make of Joe Rogan's reaction?
Look, I'm a Joe Rogan fan. I think he's done a lot as far as having open dialogue and discussion and reminding the country that's what this is about. But I don't know why it took this tragedy for Joe Rogan to realize that this was never the party of inclusion.
Yeah.
This was never the party that wanted to use careful rhetoric, that was kind. Remember the summer of love? We all remember the summer of love. And being in that arena for Charlie's memorial, I'll tell you, there was not one arrest, there was not one rioter, there was not one fire, not one person trying to be violent. And we can't say the same for the other side. Now, Joe Rogan is right in the sense where this has lit fire under so many patriots in this country, especially the young people. I think the number right now that was released from Turning Point was over 120,000 inquiries for new chapters across the country. So if any of the evil forces that were celebrating out there thought that a bullet was going to stop this movement, Gabriella now needs to know that all it did was ignite over 120,000 new soldiers. And we're going to see that very soon.
Caitlin Sinclair, well said. Thank you so much for joining us. Great to speak with you.
God bless.
Joining us now is writer and comedian Michael Loftus. Michael, great to see you again. Let's start with former First Lady Michelle Obama, because she's once again opened up about what she can't stand about her husband. In an episode of her podcast, she revealed that there's something Barack Obama does that makes her want to smack him. Listen to this.
The way you're chewing makes me want to smack you upside the head.
That's why guys don't want to have
Would that be an edge?
That would be an edge. And that would be really interesting. You could like open something up there in a big way.
Why does your chewing annoy me so much?
Right.
Wow, Michael, are you surprised to hear this?
I am surprised, but in a way I'm happy. At least it's the chewing, right? This could have been a really, really bad one, you know? But I have to think that if she were to smack him upside the head, she could probably knock him out. I think in a fight between Michelle and Barack, my money's on Michelle. She's got guns. She's ripped. Look at her. Look at her. She's going to beat the snot out of him.
I think you might have a point there. It's just, it's getting a little predictable now, isn't it? So many complaints about each other.
Yes.
Now, Kamala Harris, she's written a book, of course, 107 Days, about the world's worst presidential campaign. And in it, she talks about the trouble in paradise with her husband, Doug, and how it was really hurtful that the media reported that during Doug's first marriage, he had an affair with the nanny. She also wrote about a fight that they had over a birthday gift that he got her and that he didn't bring her a towel when she was in the bath. Michael, reading about this, Why is she writing that in her book? I mean, this was reflecting on a period of time where she was running for president of the United States. She was the vice president of the United States. Like, maybe she could write about lying to the public about Joe Biden's cognitive decline, about why they wanted to open up the border, let millions of people in.
Yeah, talk about policy. Talk about the tough decisions you had to make. Don't go and then my husband wouldn't bring me a towel when I was in the bath. And I was drunk. I shouldn't have been walking around. They're trying so hard to do they're just like us. Oh, she has complaints. Oh, she doesn't like the way he chews. Listen, these are elitist snobs, and it's sad to watch. You don't fit in. You're the weirdo.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kamala Ding Dong.
Well, unfortunately for us, Kamala Harris is coming back to Sydney next year. She's going to be headlining the Women Unlimited Leadership Summit in 2026, Australia's largest women in leadership conference. And the theme of the conference is set to be redefining possibilities, asking attendees to rethink leadership limits, expand their mindset, and take a proactive approach to confronting challenges. Okay, I do not know how Kamala Harris is going to help us out here. I mean, we've been listening to her on her media blitz while she's been out promoting this book, and she makes less and less sense every time you listen to her. Do you have any advice for anyone in Sydney who's actually going to be going to this?
First of all, stay away, Sydney. And if you guys could do us all a favor and pop the tires on the plane, you guys, if you could just keep her down there, that would be great. Let her try some of the wonderful Australian wines. You guys have a lovely variety of wine. I think she wants to try them all. She's going to Australia, and she's going to be in a studio, and people can only watch via Zoom. Like, how smart is that? You're going to fly to the other side of the globe to do a Zoom call.
Yeah, we've already had her. She was out earlier this year, I think it was, and then back in February. Enough. I think we've had enough. But let's talk about Barron Trump. He appears to be taking after his father. Page 6 is reporting that Barron Trump shut down a whole floor of the Trump Tower for a date. Now, Michael, that's certainly a power move.
It is. You know what? And it's kind of romantic. It's kind of like a wonderful romantic comedy where he's the rich kid, son of the president, but he's not allowed to go anywhere, so he has to bring the date home. But he has the whole floor. But he's a big kid. That's like one little room to us. So it's all relative.
It's very tall. Well, let's talk about Elon Musk. Elon Musk is one of many cancelling their Netflix subscriptions over the streaming giant's alleged promotion of pro-trans ideology. Now, this move, I guess, is also due to some of the disgusting comments made by Hamish Steele, who is the creator of a children's show, and he mocked the death of Charlie Kirk. Now, the share price of Netflix has dropped 2% after Elon Musk called on others, I should say, to cancel their Netflix subscriptions. And this is certainly a bit of a movement. I mean, looking at my social media feed, there are constantly calls of people showing that they've cancelled their Netflix subscriptions. What do you make of this?
Well, they've gone too far. And if it was a restaurant, you wouldn't go back because there's woke and there's trans and gender ideology in every dish. Like, really, it's like going to a Chinese restaurant. What'd you get? Oh, I got the noodles, but there was a bunch of trans issues in there. What'd you get? Oh, I got the General Tso's chicken, but it tasted like trans. It's everywhere. It's permeating all of these shows. And if you're a parent, you know, and your kid is watching something, you don't want to think they're also being brainwashed. So I think it's great. You let people make the decision. If they don't want the woke Disney and they don't want the woke Netflix, it's easy. Turn the other channel. Stop paying. Stop subscribing.
Yeah,
that's free markets.
Michael Loftus, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Great to see you.
And that is Power Hour. Thank you for your company. We'll see you next week. Make sure you subscribe to Sky News Australia on YouTube.